Welcome to Between Two Filing Cabinets. I'm your host, Nick Affolter, and I'm here with Wendy Ock. Or is that Wendy okay? Oh, okay. Thank you, Wendy okay, for joining me on our new segment, Between Two Filing Cabinets. Today we're joined by Wendy okay, Senior Dark Lord of the Sith. How did you get that title?
That's not my title.
Okay. Okay. What does that stand for? Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi? Was he your father?
Yes.
Can you explain what you do?
No.
I know you probably have a crazy schedule. You travel the world constantly. You must get tired. How do you do it?
I sleep during SLT meetings mostly.
Those seem very important. Is that something you should be sleeping through?
Those naps are very important.
Oh, interesting.
I get them every week on Tuesdays.
I do remember reading that naps should be something we prioritize, and it's good that you make time for that. That's probably a great point in your workday to find some time that's probably not very important to just take that nap. So today we're specifically picking your brain on managing employees, and specifically tips for the team to have an effective one-on-one. Tell us a little bit about your management style.
Mostly dictatorial, supportive, friendly, but really more dictatorial.
Yeah, I've heard that you like to crush people under your feet. Is that true?
HR has asked me to stop doing that, so no, I've never done that.
What's a softer approach that you've taken in the past?
Going out for lunch, talking about their career goals, talking about things that are important to them.
Where's your favorite lunch spot?
Used to be the food truck with the fried chicken, but it's gone now.
Yeah. Man, I can't believe they took that away from us.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So those managers that are listening, what would be the top 3 tips that you would give them to make the most efficient and effective use of that one-on-one time?
Yeah, it's a good question. Pretty much do things that I don't do, like make time for your employees, make sure that you're spending at least a half an hour to an hour with all of your direct reports every week or every other week. Be present while you're in those meetings, so put away your phone.
Sorry, one second,
yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take this real quick. Mom, I'm recording right now. Yeah, I know. I fed the cat. She's gonna be okay. Okay, I'll call you back when I'm done. Thank you. Love you too, Mom. Sorry. What were you saying?
Be present. No phone.
Oh, that's very important.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
No laptop. And follow up and follow through. Make sure that you're having those conversations and that you're coming back.
Is that kind of like basketball, the follow up and follow through on your shot?
A little bit.
A little bit like that.
That's
yeah.
how you're
I used to be
successful.
quite the athlete back in the day.
I don't believe that.
But sure.
Okay.
We do have some people that are probably not listening and no one pays attention, but for those that do, we have some ICs that what would be tips that you'd give them as they go into their conversation with their managers? Let's do a little role playing here. If I was going to come into a one-on-one with you,
I'm not really into that.
Well,
that's
fair.
Keep going.
But if I was going to go into a conversation with you, what would be your advice for me other than brush your teeth,
don't spit out
change
your
your
gum.
socks.
Don't spit out your gum on
saving
a
that for
filing
later.
cabinet. I'm sure you will. I would say come in prepared. So do all those things you just said ahead of time, and also maybe bring an agenda. Make sure that you know what you want to cover, because you need to take control of the conversation. It's your time with your manager to make sure that you're getting what you need.
Kind of like how I feel you're taking control of this conversation here.
Absolutely.
A little bit. It's
Absolutely.
kind of going off script here a little bit and off the rails, but it's okay. I mean,
it's expected.
I get that you have the ability to use the Force as the Darth Lord of the Sith, and it worries me a little bit.
I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't sound good.
Okay.
Okay, great. The other thing I would do is make sure that you ask for very specific input and
the input
feedback.
You're looking for.
It's not the input you're looking for?
Sorry, what was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Everybody's stopped watching at this point.
So, continuing on, if we, that was some fantastic advice. So let's play a little game. If we were going to play a game called What Would Wendy Do? I'm going to give you some common questions, some common workplace scenarios that may come along.
WWJD, what Wendy Jane does.
what Wendy Jane does, sure, WWWJD. There's an extra W in there, I think.
That's a good point. So just what Wendy Jane does.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So you're going to provide your most common response. As an employee, if I come to you and address you as Your Highness before asking you a question, how do you respond?
I respond. If you don't say Your Highness, I won't respond.
So an employee approaches you outside of work. This probably doesn't happen that often. I imagine people probably don't approach you outside of work very often.
What are you saying about that?
How do you reprimand them?
I don't. I take them out for lunch.
Really, you don't just choke them.
It's usually not encouraged by the U.S. law.
Interesting. Is there any other reason to have a one-on-one with your employee other than to fire them?
I would say yes. Definitely there are other reasons.
Really?
Yes.
I've got the wrong script then. I didn't know that.
Or the wrong manager, apparently.
So I'm going to have to go back and talk to my manager about that.
Sorry, Olivia.
What is your best career advice?
I think it's...
And so the next question, let's finish with some fun. Let's pretend to fire me. Go ahead and pretend to fire me. If this was happening, go ahead and pretend to fire me.
I'm just